An actress best known for her role on Netflix's Grace and Frankie is hoping more women will do something she once thought about. Running for office. She's put together a book that's something of a guide for women to do so. I talked to her by satellite about the book. It's called Represent. I understand you're from New York. I don't know if you're familiar with the Rochester area, but we are the home to Susan B. Anthony.
Wow, yes, of course you are.
So it's very cool to be able to talk about your book this morning, Represent, which is about women running for office. First, talk about what inspired you to write this book along with your co-author, Kate Black.
You know, right after the 2016 election, I was devastated that Hillary lost, and I was considering a run for office. And when I started to do some very light Googling, I realized there was not a lot of information on how to do it, and that the process seemed so mysterious and honestly best left to others to do. So when I set out to do that research, I decided, you know what, this information should be available to everyone. There should be a guidebook that takes women through the process, that breaks down the steps on how to do it. And that's what I set out to do.
I saw you on Jimmy Kimmel, and he asked you about the first step, which you learned from your co-author, was tell people, which was not your first inclination. That would be your first step in this process, right?
Of course, I assumed it was, you know, call your employer or figure out how much money you need to raise, and to learn that the first step is to tell someone in your life was fascinating to me. And it really does accomplish two things. It commits you further just simply by saying it out loud and putting it out into the universe. And then it also starts to build that village of support around you. You know, women do not have to do this alone. They're going to be doing it with a lot of people who they need to support them. And so by telling someone else, you're also engaging that other person very early in your campaign and making them feel like they're a part of it, which they are.
You talked to a number of women, inspiring women for this book. There's some humor in this too, because it gets down to real life, right? It's about making this decision and this journey to running for office and balancing it with everyday life and what's happening.
Absolutely. I mean, I really wanted to write something that was super accessible and that was, yes, of course, informative and chock full of the actual information, but that was joyful to read. I think that's important. But I also think it's important to get really serious about the details of women's lives. Women are doing the unpaid labor of caretaking in this country. We are taking care of small children, we're taking care of our elderly parents, and we're taking care of our own professional careers and paid work and ourselves. So a lot of times it doesn't seem like there's much time or energy left over to do something like this, to engage in this way in our communities. So the book really does ask women to do an inventory of the money they're making, the care they're giving, the care they need themselves, and to figure out what changes they could make, who they can ask for help from to make this run possible in a very real and very full life.
We're heading into another election year, a presidential election. We saw in our most recent election more women elected than ever. Final question to you. What do you see as the future of women in politics and women in office?
My hope for the future is that we have a government that actually represents its people. And my hope is also that we are talking about all women and not just older, white, wealthy women. That we talk about domestic workers running for office, sex workers running for office, all types of women engaging in the world around them and bringing their voices, their experience to the table to make decisions about their lives.
June Diane Raphael, it's called Represent, the Women's Guide to Running for Office and Changing the World. June, so great to see you this morning and great having you with us. Congratulations on the new book.
Thank you so much.